All right, we're here with Daniel Webhead, our Buccaneers owner, and we're doing our first owner interview in LPL. We're
All
gonna
right.
Yeah, we're gonna have this. It shouldn't be too long. We're gonna have this up on Operation Sports and in the main chat and the news chat. So Daniel, you can say hi.
Hey, hello. Nice to talk to you, Rich. I'm really excited about this. I think this is a great way to keep everybody engaged and get to know everybody, and I think this is really cool.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we're gonna start with our questions about you. Uh, you know, I guess tell us a little bit about you. What do you do? Your wife, kids, anything, anything like
Yeah.
that.
So, uh, yeah, I'm married. I've been married for going on 5 years, and my wife and I have one child. We've got a little boy. He just turned 1. He's doing all kinds of crazy stuff, running around the house. Every night we're picking up the house. It's like picking up after a party that you didn't attend.
It's bad.
uh,
Just gonna get worse too.
yeah, so I hear. But so it's wonderful though. He's doing new things every day, and it's just fantastic. Um, but
Does he walk yet?
oh yeah, he's walking, borderline running. He's quick. And he walked pretty early actually. He was walking around 10 months old,
Oh
which was
wow.
pretty incredible. Yeah, and he's starting to learn few new words. He likes to say no a lot. He doesn't quite know what it means, but yeah, it's pretty funny.
I'd imagine, man. I got some guys. I don't have any kids myself, but guys I work with have kids, and a lot of my friends have kids, and they're kind of fun to play with. They're kind of clueless. You can tell them whatever you want. I like to lie to them and just make stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's you're in a good position. It's always nice to be able to go enjoy the good times, and then as soon as they start melting down, well, oh, here you go, mom and dad, back to you.
Yeah, exactly. I have a godchild like that. I can look at her for a little bit, and then when she starts getting bad, it's okay. Go back to mom and dad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're not mine. It's almost like being a grandparent, from what I hear.
Yeah, yeah. The you know how grandparents get so excited, and they get to watch their kids suffer through the tough times, and they get to enjoy all the good times.
Exactly. Exactly. My parents don't have that I don't know the word I'm looking for. I guess the luxury of that yet. I guess, but they will one day. Just not right now.
Yeah, you need to get on that.
No, no, man. That's a bad idea. How old are you?
I am 29. I'll be 30 this year. I'm an old
Oh
man.
man. See, I'm 30. I'll be 34 in a couple of weeks. So I made it pretty long without
Yeah.
having a little accident along the way.
Oh, well, so 3-0. It's not as disastrous as it sounds, is it?
It's actually not, man. If you well, right now it is for us in Louisiana because of the oil field being kind of shitty, but for the most part, by the time you hit 30, you kind of have things kind of. I'm not gonna say figured out, but you have a job, you have things that you like to do, you have hobbies, obviously
Yeah.
with your Xbox. But by that point, in your case, you're married or happily married. It sounds like with a kid, and you're just kind of chugging through life at this point. And
Yeah.
and look,
There's
and look
some
I
direction.
dreaded it,
Like,
man. I did not like turning 30. My 30th birthday, I was depressed. But after that, it really hasn't been that bad.
all right. Well, good. Inspiring words there from one
From
of
a,
our fearless leaders.
yeah, from an old man.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm the oldest guy in the league, but I'm probably pretty close. I'm up there. I know in the other league I play in, I'm definitely not the oldest. There's two guys, one's 36 and one's like 40 or 41. So I don't feel too bad playing with all these kids on my Xbox.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think we've got a fairly good mix of
It seems
guys.
like it. It seems like it. I think Chris is like 25, 24, 25. Jake's in that 27, 26 to 28 range.
Uh-huh.
I don't really remember. He graduated a few years after me, but it seems like we have a good mix of older and younger. It's kind of
Yeah.
nice.
I was in a store after work today, and I saw a kid walking around with his parents. He was playing on his on a smartphone, and he was playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And I
Oh,
just thought to myself, man, I remember getting the Sega Genesis when it was brand new and playing that game.
and,
That
and
made me
and
feel a little
sad,
old.
the sad part, it was awesome. And
Man, it
looking at the
was.
graphics, like man, it's so cool. All these
Oh
rings
yeah.
everywhere. You can spin. You can go through walls or whatever. It's yeah. I still watch old Nintendo games on YouTube, man. They have YouTube channels that they'll do playthroughs of the old video games.
Uh huh.
I think it's awesome. Like I watched Ninja Turtles the other night, a whole walkthrough.
Oh,
It's
nice. So you got to see the speed run, and there's some good speed runs of the original Mario Brother
Yes, there
game.
is. I saw a guy do Mario 3 in like 9 minutes, 11 minutes.
Yeah, those guys are ridiculous,
That's the good old days.
right? Now what? Madden,
Yeah, that's all I do now. I play Madden. I play a
right?
few other games too, but for the most part, it's just Madden. Well, speaking
Yeah.
of Madden, how did you get into a sim league, or why did you want to get into a sim league, I guess, or a CFM?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I've I think I've told you before. I played a lot of NCAA football.
Uh-huh.
I remember buying the first one. I got 2002 when Chris Winkie was on the cover. I'm from Tallahassee, so I'm a huge Florida State Seminole fan, and
Nice.
that's why I went to college. So I bought that because Chris Winkie was on the cover, and I played just about every iteration of it up until they canceled it. Probably skipped two or three of them in between, but so I've played a lot of football games on Xbox and PlayStation. Um, and when multiplayer and online started becoming a big thing, I tried to play it on NCAA, and I played a little bit of Madden too. And you would just always run into these guys that just knew how to exploit the game, and
Yeah.
they would just use all these money plays and all of this thing, and it was just no fun. So I this time around, because I haven't played in a sim league before, so this time around I thought, all right, well look, there has to be more people who feel like this with me. So uh, I went looking on some of the different message boards and things like that. I got on Operation Sports and saw that there were these sim leagues, people putting these together. I read through some of the rules and I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was really good. It was exactly what I was looking for. Um, so to I posted on a couple of the recruiting messages and left my gamer tag. And actually, how I got into this league was Chris sent me a message on the Xbox, just saying, "Hey, I'm putting together a league and got a few people. Do you want to join?" And I thought, well, at the time, the league, the I was talking with one other league, and this kid had just two other people, and one of them had dropped out, so it was me and him. So I saw that was going nowhere, and I talked with Chris a little bit back and forward on a few messages. He seemed like a very nice guy, and it still seems so. And
He's not. He's
so
not. He's just fooling you.
yeah, well, he's doing a good job. Uh, but yeah, so then I joined up. I think he said there's a group of you, 10 or so, and that have been in leagues previously, and I thought that was a great core of guys. So uh, I jumped on board, and I'm glad I did. It's things are going very well. Shoot, we've almost filled up the league.
Yeah, I think I told you yesterday or whenever it was that I think you were the first person that Chris recruited that wasn't playing in a league with us currently. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure you were the first person that joined.
I think that's right. Thinking back on it, about yeah, that he said there was 10 or 11 from this group of his, and did I want to join up? There was no mention of anybody else, so I think you're right in that.
Then basically what he did was he went through and we didn't ask everyone in that league. We really weren't trying to, or still not trying to, kind of like we don't want to take that league away. It's still a good league we were playing in, and we weren't trying to hurt them. We really didn't want to piss anybody off for sure. Was That was one of our main goals because we weren't trying to start a league and then get kicked out of that league, which I
Hmm.
think I think Chris ended up leaving anyway. But we so we asked a few guys that or he knew that were going to play in multiple leagues, and we thought would be a good fit for our league because we didn't want a lot of. there's a few guys in there that even their commissioners would admit that just kind of they just rub you the wrong way. So we definitely avoided those guys,
Yeah.
and it seems to be working out for us pretty well.
Oh, I think so. You and I have said over the chats that it's a really good group. I think we've got everybody is in it, I think, for the right reasons, and we all get frustrated, but we know where to channel it.
Yeah, yeah, that's another thing, man. A lot of guys are getting frustrated, and especially with the sliders here and there, and you know, we're trying to do everything we can to kind of cater to everyone in the league, not just one or two people. But we've been trying to get everybody involved and get everybody to kind of have a say. So it's kind of hard because like in your case, you don't have any previous sim experience, so it's kind of hard if you're playing and you think, oh well, this needs to be changed. It's like, well, is it
Yeah,
change?
well,
Is it you or is it the game itself?
right.
But in that case, still, we still need like guys like you, which you do a great job of that, by the way. You'll tell us, hey, I think this should be changed or that should be changed, and that's what we need everybody to do. So it helps us a lot. Because like in your case, you don't know, but if you don't say anything, you'll never know. You'll just think, well, I just suck, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It can be a bit tough when you're throwing 4 and 5 interceptions a game. But like you and I were saying, uh, I was telling you earlier, you just gotta get used to them because I think that's part of it is playing. I've played a whole bunch of different slider sets, but it's always been against the computer, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
playing against users is a much different game. So getting used to that, might take a half season or shoot, maybe even a full season. So, um, we'll see. I feel like can still run a pretty good offense. I got my star quarterback and Jameis Winston, so I'm
what do you think about
excited to
him
see
so
what
far?
what he comes.
I
What's
know.
that?
What do you think about him so far? I mean, obviously you're a big Florida State fan, so you're a Jameis Winston fan. Um,
Absolutely.
so,
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's yeah. He's great. There's there are very few stellar quarterbacks in the NFL, and I think in the game and also in life, in Jameis Winston is going to be and is a fantastic quarterback. I think
yeah,
he's absolutely the guy that I'll be building the team around. Uh,
that's what you should do,
Obviously,
man. That's what any team, any good team would do. They get their quarterback and they build from there. So you're going about it the right way for sure.
yeah,
I mean, and you have those two big weapons on the outside right now, Jackson and Evans.
yeah. It's nice to have big targets. They just need to hold on to the ball.
Yeah,
I think I was complaining to you about all the drops, and you know, you
you
get
know,
you get fired up. But shoot, I think what Evans had the most drops in the NFL this year. So maybe these
great.
sliders, are true to life.
We got something right there too, I guess.
Yeah,
One thing I was thinking about with your receivers though, and because they're slower, they're not gonna get really open running downfield. So I think they are gonna drop more passes. So I guess the only tip I can give for that would be to really up their catch and traffic ratings because they
yeah.
won't be wide open in the middle of the field making catches. But
Well, and yeah,
anytime you get single coverage, man, you should definitely throw it up to them and see what happens.
yeah, just chuck it up there. Yeah,
That's kind
that's
of the game I played earlier. That's what I
especially in the
did.
red zone.
Oh yeah, red zone for sure. Throw it up to him and let him go get it. The only thing is you also have to get Winston's accuracy up for that because you start throwing passes up and if he underthrows it a little bit, it's gonna be an interception every time. So
Yeah, well, I've noticed that on a few passes actually that miss by a lot. It seems like I was playing against Jacksonville the other day, and just like one drive, every ball was right where it needed to be, and then the next drive, he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. He was, balls out of
mhm.
the sideline and well overthrown, and couldn't get anything on target. And then the next drive, he's right back on it. So,
Like I don't want to speculate too much on how the game is, but and in the other league I play in, I had a rookie quarterback last season who was actually rated really well, and it seemed the same way when I would start a game, or the first drive he would be horrible, and then the next drive he'd be really good, and then he'd be horrible again.
Hmm.
Just throwing errant passes. But his second year this season, he's on target almost every throw. So I don't know if he just got built up well when it came to accuracy and awareness, or if there's something with rookies in the game where they won't be consistent until year two.
Yeah. Well, that maybe you're onto something with that.
There's definitely something there. I know there's a big discussion and disagreement. It seems like it's almost half and half on whether or not awareness affects user controlled players in the game. And
Oh, I believe it does.
I do too. I really think it does because the awareness it gives you a higher overall, which that's what most guys think it's all it's good for, and it's only good for the computer. But I think the way awareness works, and this is how it works. It's a modifier for all of your attributes in the game. So whenever your awareness gets higher, your attributes actually get higher too, higher than I don't know exactly how that part works, but I don't know if like if you have 85 awareness, you're getting 85% of your accuracy rating, or if you're getting just I don't know how that works. Like I can't ever really put it into words, but it's a I definitely think it does something. I know for sure. I say for sure, like I'm really sure, but I guess I'm not 100% on that. But I'm 99.9% sure that your QB awareness affects how well you feel pressure in the pocket. Your controller will vibrate whenever you get pressure in the pocket, and
Uh,
I think the higher your awareness is, the better. I guess the quicker it's going to vibrate, maybe.
yeah. Alert you to what's
Yeah, and
coming through the pocket. Yeah.
it'll also. It seems like with my rookie that into the second year this year, because his awareness is like 90 this season. I get less passes that are off target. So maybe the awareness plays a part, in your accuracy too.
Well, in the consistency, I mean, I know we have the consistency stat, which apparently does really absolutely nothing.
No,
But uh,
the consistency, all that is it's supposed to be how much XP you get in game prep. That's all it's supposed to affect. And
right,
really, I think all it does is it's how consistent you are getting XP.
hmm
The way I've seen it this year so far is your development trait is what affects how much XP you can get if you're doing game prep. Like if you're doing right now, I'm doing a guy with average development. He'll get 330 points. He'll get between like 280 and 370. If you have a really high consistency rating, you'll get that. You'll be on the high end more often than not, and that's really all that affects.
right. But then building that up, the cost benefit there is
It's a
very
waste of
small.
time. It's a waste
Yeah,
of time. I wouldn't waste any XP
yeah,
on
on
building that trade.
consistency. Yeah, I agree. But
But
awareness is a good one to go with.
yeah, and it's cheap.
Yeah,
So I know your accuracy is huge. Short accuracy is really big because it used to be short accuracy was like 10 yards and under, but I think now it's 20 yards and under from what I read not that long ago. And
hmm.
how often do you throw a pass longer than 20 yards? Not very often. So
Yeah.
if your short accuracy is really high, you're going to get better passes, more accurate passes.
Well, and I think that's going to be huge for teams like my team, Tampa Bay. From the sounds of it, the Falcons, some of these other teams with terrible offensive lines, you gotta run these short, quick throws that you don't have time for routes to develop 20,
Yeah, man.
25, 30 yards downfield.
Yeah, the game I just played against the Dolphins, I couldn't do anything
Hell
10
of a
yards
game, by the
downfield.
way.
Thank you.
Hell of a game.
Thank you. It was so frustrating, but if you notice in the second half, I did a lot more shorter passes, and then I think at that point by then he stopped blitzing, so I was able to stop his blitz by short passes. Then I was able to have time to go downfield and throw it to my receivers outside the hash,
Hmm.
which is the only thing I could do because he was destroying me if I was sitting in the pocket too long.
Yeah, that touchdown pass with the long comeback. I think
Yeah, to Roddy White.
yeah, that
That's funny
was
because I told Chris. he told me like a week ago he was thinking about dropping Roddy White. I was like, if you drop him, I'm picking him up. And sure enough, he dropped him, and I picked him up, and he came up big that game.
And yeah, good signing. It might be the signing of the year.
For my team, it is so far.
Free agent, yeah.
Uh, what's your team's record right now?
What are we? 1-4, I believe.
One
Yeah,
four.
yeah, 1-4. I was able to get the Saints, Jameis Winston, on his first career fourth quarter drive, scored a touchdown
Nice.
on a pass to Russell Shepard, I believe it was, right over the middle. It was pretty spectacular. It was late at night too, and I had to do everything I could to keep myself quiet. I didn't want to wake the baby up.
That's cool, man. That's Russell Shepard. That's an old LSU guy.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I'm from Louisiana, so we all watch LSU out here, whether we like it or not. We kind of have to support them.
yeah.
So that 1-4 record, do you think that reflects your team, or is that something that's going to get better this season?
Well, I hope it gets better, of course. I think I've had opportunities in every game except for this last one against the Jags where I got a thorough beating. The score was much closer than the game, if I'm honest.
Well, that
But
Jags guy is better than I would have thought because that team I thought was gonna be bad. I guess with the updates, maybe they're a little bit better, or maybe Tom's just that good of a user. But
hey, that
he did beat Danielle, who's really good.
yeah, well, I mean that might be it. That defense is quick. He's got Telvin Smith. Telvin
Hmm.
Smith's my boy, man, from Florida State.
Yeah,
He's a beast. He's all over the field. And then he's got a great core of guys with Bortles and Hearns, uh,
and
and
Robinson.
and right, yeah, yep. Uh, so he's got a great core. The Jags and the Bucks are very similar in that respect. Um, but I think my team, I think the Bucks need much more work on the defense.
So you think defense is where your weak point's at right now?
Defense and offensive line.
I think that's
The
everybody's weak point right now is offensive line.
offensive line, yeah, yeah. But especially the defense. And I've got an injury right now. One of my cornerbacks got hurt. Um, he's out for 4 weeks, and I have a feeling that had something to do with the game against the Jags. Um,
Didn't help for
but
sure.
yeah, it didn't help. That's for sure. Exactly. But anyway, to answer your question, I think 1-4 is fair given the skill in certain positions on the team. But hey, as you know, in our you and I played in our first game, and man, I should have won that game. I
Yeah, you really should
still
have.
still sick about that kick, but uh, and then um, I had a kick to win the game against the Texans, and that fell well short. And so I could very easily be what 3-2 instead of 1-4. But hey, that's the way it goes.
And for those of you who don't know what happened in our game, we actually went to overtime and we almost had a tie in that game because
Yeah, we
we couldn't
did.
score and Daniel had a makeable field goal in overtime and
Oh God, it was
came
like
up short.
35 yards or
Yeah,
something ridiculous.
yeah, came up short and I ended up getting the ball back and driving down and getting my field goal and it was that close. You really, I mean, that's easily 2-3 right there, and then losing by a field goal you said to the Texans. That's 3-2 could have been realistic, but you can't go back in time.
No, no, you can't. You just learn your lessons and move on to the next one. We sound
Yeah,
like that's sound like guys on ESPN.
yeah,
All
kind
the
of.
coaches.
Just move on to the next game, on to the next week.
Yeah,
Some old Bill Belichick quotes there. And you also have to take, I guess take into consideration that it is your first time playing in one of the leagues. So even 1-4, man, it's really not horrible. It might look bad as a start, but you're starting with Tampa Bay, who's not the best team, and you don't have a lot of experience playing in one of these leagues. So to be 1-4, and like we just said, you could just as easily be 3-2 right now. That's pretty good. And obviously
yeah. I'm not yet.
the interceptions are hurting you. Once you get those down, you're going to be back in it for sure.
Yeah, well, and that's the main focus right now is just learn, like I said a little while ago, just learning the how the games play and what seems to work and what doesn't, and just getting better from there. Learning the playbook a little better, um, learning how to execute the plays. Um, so I think it'll get better. I'll make some noise later on in the year, and you know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are looking to make a splash in 2017.
Good, good. So, if you're, well, I guess if you're looking forward to next season, are you gonna make any big moves before our trade deadline in week 8, or are you gonna try to sell off some pieces and get some more draft picks and just
Yeah,
get some more tools for next year?
yeah. I'm trying to make my mind up about that actually because I don't know that I have a lot of pieces that I want to get rid of. Uh, to say it like that, I don't know that there's anybody on the team that I really want to part with, so to say.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, they're like I've said, they're positions that need improving. So I've been looking through my roster and just watching the trade board in the group me chat and just seeing if anything interesting pops up. I thought about for a second making a run at Michael Floyd, but I've got two studs at wide receiver right now. It's a big drop off from Evans and from Vincent Jackson, but uh, down
Yeah,
to
and
Russell Shepard and Humphreys, but uh, you know, I couldn't see signing. In the end, I decided that having a third wide receiver as Michael Floyd might be a little bit wasteful.
long term it might not have been too bad because Vincent Jackson is up there in age.
Yeah,
So having
yeah.
that guy to come in and it might have helped a little bit long term. But I
Well,
think
it might, but perhaps I'll find somebody in the draft.
oh yeah,
You know,
definitely. The drafts are typically pretty good for wide receivers. Running backs are hard to find in the draft, but wide receivers you're good. It shouldn't be hard to find one.
yeah,
Especially at 1 and 4. If the season keeps going that way, you'll definitely get a high pick and you'll get somebody decent.
yeah. Well, we're not playing for that, but I guess there is that consolation, right?
Yeah, man, you gotta stay positive.
There we go.
Uh, so okay, we went through the not making any big moves before free agency for sure. You do have two good defensive tackles though, don't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course, there's Gerald McCoy and Spence.
And you
Uh,
have Henry Melton's not bad. I don't know what his update is, but
yeah, there's a bit of a drop off after the top two. Not a whole lot, but not there's not like a superstar buried in the depth chart at
right,
that position.
right.
I got two good defensive ends. Uh, Linebacker, we're doing real well at linebacker, although the two outside linebackers are getting up there a little bit in their age. But middle linebacker, we got a young guy, Quan Alexander. He's going to be a superstar, I think.
But you have
Um,
Levante David too, don't you? He's pretty
yeah,
good.
that's right. Yeah, Levante David. He's probably the best player on the defense right now, except for Gerald McCoy.
And
Um,
is it Vontae Davis, the cornerback? No, that doesn't sound right.
no, no, there's
Vontae's somewhere else.
I've
What's
got
his name? Antoine Werner.
That's it, Werner. Yeah, I wanted to say, yeah, Antoine Werner. He actually got hurt,
Oh, okay.
and I signed. Was it Chris Cole? I signed him off free agency. He's the other starting cornerback. I've got Malcolm Jenkins is the third cornerback.
Malcolm Jenkins, like the safety.
Uh, is that right? Have I got the
He well,
right guy?
he plays both, but he's in Philadelphia right now. I don't think Philly cut him.
No, I think you're right. Who am I thinking of? Shoot, I'd have to look at the roster. Uh, Safeties too, Chris Conti and uh, oh man, free safeties, Florida former Gator.
No,
It's,
so he can't be that good then.
no, no, but so there's some good players on the roster. Um, the secondary is definitely a weakness, just like we saw with Tampa Bay during
Yeah,
the NFL season.
yeah. it doesn't help they play against the Saints twice a year and teams like that with Matt Ryan and Cam Newton. You got
Well, that's
6 games right there where you got some good quarterbacks.
that's right.
So in the draft, it sounds like you wanting to build up on defense. Is that where you're going to go early?
Well, I don't know that that I've made my mind up on that just yet. There's still quite a lot of the season to go, a lot of scouting to do. I'm trying to decide what sort of cornerback I'm looking for.
Hmm.
Uh, it certainly is going to be a focus. I think I'm leaning towards that being the focus in the early rounds of the draft, and then try and find a few gems on offense later on. But it's still early in the season. That could change quite a bit.
Well, I can tell you just from the other league that I mentioned, from that experience, when it comes to cornerbacks, they're like gold. I mean, it's hard to get those guys late in the draft because you have to draft them early. If you want a cornerback, you have to get one early. We saw in one draft, I want to say season 2 or 3, I think we had 3 or 4 cornerbacks go in the first 5 picks. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, same thing this season. I think we had 3 cornerbacks go in the top 5. So cornerbacks are hard to come by.
Yeah, well, there we go.
They're
May
so
have to
important.
focus after hearing that. That may have to be the way I go.
Yeah, especially if you get to pick early. Offensive line's pretty. Uh, you don't see too many of them going too early because it seems like guys want skill positions, but for the most part, offensive line in the draft is pretty weak. So I think this season we may see a few go early in this draft. Defense, I can't think exactly what the scouting looked like, but I don't think it was too great. At least for a 4-3 guy, I play 4-3, so for my guys,
Yeah,
it doesn't look too great.
I played 4-3 as well, and I agree with you. It's been pretty underwhelming. The the prospects in the draft. There's some studs on the offensive line, if I remember. Some decent cornerbacks too.
Yeah, yeah, it's just a matter of getting those guys. It's much different drafting with 32 guys than it is drafting against the computer. With the computer, you can draft just great guys late in the draft. With the guy with our actual users, they all do their homework, before the draft, so it makes it
Hmm.
much tougher to draft. So it really, your first couple of rounds really have to hit, in order to be successful.
Yeah, well, that'll be a lot of fun, won't it? Well,
It actually
I'm
is,
looking
man.
forward to that.
The draft is real fun, real fun. You sit there and it takes about, I guess, maybe 2 hours to do it, but it's a lot of fun. Everybody's posting their a snapshot of their guys that they drafted, bragging about this
Hmm.
guy, bragging about that guy. Or we saw in one case, one guy, 2 guys, I guess, in the first year, their first round picks were busts. They came out and they were just pathetic. You're like, dude, that's horrible. Like, you got to do better homework than that. It's all about getting
We'll
that
have to.
superstar development. So, what do you think about the league overall so far?
Well, yeah, I think I said earlier, and we've got what seems to be a great group. Everybody seems to be in for the right reasons and knows how to channel any frustration that comes along. And I think a lot of these guys are going to be here for long term. Hopefully, the bulk of us move over to Madden 17 in in the fall. Um,
That's
and
gonna make it,
I
that's
just
gonna make it so much better, man. When you got a group of guys that have played together for a few seasons already, and everybody just moves over to the next version of it, it's gonna be awesome. That
yeah,
that
I think
that was our goal there.
yeah, well, and you've done a great job with it because, like we said, I mean, the league's almost full, and um, we're having a lot of fun already. We everybody eager to play their games and understanding of everybody else's schedules and uh, working out times for everybody to get together to play. Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm really happy. I'm ecstatic that it's worked out this way, and um, thrilled that Chris sought me out and uh, had me join up.
Yeah. Well, I know you got an invite to another league. You're not gonna play in 2 leagues. You're just gonna play in one.
Yeah, I think I don't have. a tremendous amount of time during the week. I, uh, you know, I basically have just the evenings to play. Some of you guys may have already noticed every time I post a play, it's after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Um, I get home fairly late in the evening, and then got to put the boy down to bed, and by the time that's all done, it's 9:30, and get some time to do whatever it is I want to do.
Yeah, man, that's one thing about us older guys. We don't have a lot of time.
Yeah,
You know, there's
that's
always
right.
something else, especially in your case with the wife and kid.
Yeah,
Chris
exactly
is
right.
in the same position. He's got a wife and kid, and you know, it's. I think he's got one on the way. Maybe. I think that's what he was saying the other day.
Oh
It, it,
wow. Well,
it makes it.
congratulations to him.
Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah,
makes it tough. You know, it's hard. It's hard to play. That's why he dropped the other league because he just, you know, especially with a wife, she's gonna complain whenever you play, you know, every single night on Madden. My girlfriend does the same thing. She doesn't like it that I'm playing in two leagues and every day it seems like I'm doing something.
yeah. I got a good laugh out of your conversation with Chris on the previous podcast about his wife coming in and laughing at him because mine does the same. She's looking at me right now with a bit of a look on her face. Yeah, that's
Like I told my girlfriend though, man, you know, we everyone has hobbies, and this is just my hobby right now. You know, I'm into it. Let me have my fun.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly right. And we're using our brains. We're not staring at a TV screen, just absorbing whatever's on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
on the TV.
Well, they really don't understand that for sure. They don't understand that you actually there's more to it than just sit there and push buttons on a controller. We're not playing Mario anymore. You know.
Right. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, you want to make a Super Bowl prediction this year, or you want to wait on that?
Oh man, I don't know that I know enough about the players on each team. It seems like the Cowboys. Is it Brett? Uh, for the Cowboys, he seems to be a good player. The Patriots, they seem to be pretty strong. The Chiefs, are they still undefeated? There's that. Well, it's a matchup between the Chiefs
The Vikings.
and Vikings, undefeated. Yeah, Nazinator, is that it?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he was undefeated up until this point. I don't know who won that game. It must be over by now. Uh, so yeah, what is that? That's like four teams right there. Let's go with Super Bowl pick. Let's go with. Oh, it'd be a little lame if I agreed with Chris, wouldn't it?
Well, the problem with Chris's pick is Brett can't play most of his games right now.
Wow, that's a good point. Yeah. Let's go. I don't know. Should we go Vikings Patriots? Wouldn't that be funny to see
Maybe
the
a
Vikings
maybe a
in this?
good one.
Yeah.
The thing with Brett though, we played with Brett in another league, and he won the first Super Bowl in that one with the Vikings. And I know he's played in other leagues before, and he's told me before he's never missed the playoffs. You know, so if Brett had a full season in him, he'd definitely be a good pick for the Super Bowl. Just not playing a full season, kind of hard to pick him right now.
Yeah, and we're gonna look at the results of the games, and the Vikes will have gotten blown out. I'm kidding. I don't know. I
Yeah,
have no idea.
it's possible though, man, because it's funny because Jimmy's the Chiefs owner is another one we play with in another. I play with in the other league, and he's the Lions in that league, and it's bad for him. He can't win a game. It seems like his team just isn't coming together, or they just sucked from the beginning. So it's really hard. It's been an uphill battle for him. And then he
Well, the
gets
Lions. That's a hell of a team to try and build up, man.
right, man.
They've got some holes.
There's holes all over on that team, and now he's a Chiefs fan, so he's the Chiefs now, and he's 5-0, just living it up, you know, playing great. And the other
Yeah.
good thing is in our league, one thing I really like is that we actually can play defense and get a stop. Like the game you just watched me play,
Hmm.
I had to get a stop and get the ball back. Had to make the opponent go three and out, which in our other league it rarely happens like that. So I think it's really helping them that we have a we can play defense, and the fact that the Chiefs have a good defense helps him out a lot.
Yeah, well, and like you said, goes back to the importance of those cornerbacks.
Yeah, it's so important, man. I mean, guys like to pass the ball so much that you just have to have a good secondary. Uh, that's all the questions I have. Is there anything you want to ask me? Anything specific?
Well, we talked a little bit about moving over to Madden 17. I think that's going to be a lot of fun down the road. You know, it looks like that's the thing you guys are building towards, like you said. And I guess um, any plans for, we've talked about tweaks to the sliders. I like that you guys are not knee jerking this and just changing things all over the place, because I think especially with some of the things that you and I have talked about with the drops and the interceptions. I think some of it is we've got to, as players, learn to not make some certain throws. There are certain things that are happening that are a little out there. Some interceptions. It does seem like sometimes that the cornerbacks have better hands than the wide receivers. But
Yeah.
uh, what are y'all thinking as far as that is concerned?
Well,
Just you and the other commissioners talking.
we talked a little bit today about, and it's just an idea that I had that we're gonna test. But we talked about right now our game speed is set at normal, and we talked about dropping it to slow. And we're not sure if that's going to affect our if it does affect how much it's going to affect our sliders. But what my thinking behind it is that if we slow it down, the guys are going to have it's going to seem like you have more time in the pocket. You technically do, but then you don't because you'll have more real time in the pocket, but your receivers won't be any further downfield or any further in their route. You're just going to feel like you have more time in the pocket. But the plus side to that is you're going to have more time to read the field and read the defense.
Yeah, post snap. Yeah,
Right.
that could be the answer.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping that's what it does. The only thing I'm hoping it doesn't do is start just having guys either never getting open or always getting open. You know,
Yeah,
it also makes running the ball a little bit easier because instead of getting the ball and then you're at the line of scrimmage within a second or within a half a second, you're gonna have a little more time to read the holes and read the line and run through the line. So I'm thinking that if we would go to slow, we might have to go down on our run blocking sliders because it will be easier to run the ball for sure.
hmm.
So that was
Well,
one
it
thing we
sounds
talked
like
about.
and y'all are still running the test league, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, we still have it.
if we can give that a try on a couple games in the test league, I'd be more than willing to help with that.
Great, that'd be great. Uh, what I'd like to do in the test league is I'd like to do that first is drop it down to slow and play a couple of games and see what happens, and then go from there. If it does help a little bit, either we can play with the sliders and we can try dropping interceptions way down and up in coverage and see what happens with that. You know, just kind of playing back and forth, and that's what I'd like to do right now, or not right now, but just sometimes too. I like to test that.
Yeah.
Uh, there's another thing we talked about that I'm kind of drawing a blank here. We talked about today. Well, the fourth down rule is going to change. It looks like for sure. Uh, from the poll that I posted earlier. From the last I saw, it was tied 6-6 for it either being a coach's decision on 4th and 5 or less, which means anytime it's 4th and 5 or less between the 35 and 49, and so well, not and, but you get one decision per game to go for it there. Once you use it, you couldn't do it again. So if you got in that position again, you'd be screwed. You'd have to punt the ball or try to attempt the field goal. And it was tied
Yeah, and
between that.
I think that's a good rule, that having the coach's decision, if that's the way the poll shakes out. Because I
Yeah,
think
it's
you know
good.
co-
Our other league, we actually have a coach's decision, but it's anytime, anywhere on 4th down. So this would be a little more specific, but it also be specific in that it makes sense to use it in that position.
yeah.
Uh, I think the thing it was tied with was 4th and 3 or 4th and 2 or less, which for the most part, when teams have 4th and 2 or less and they're on the I want to say like 38-yard line, there's a good chance that I'm not gonna say 50-50, but it's probably pretty close to 50-50 whether or not they're gonna go for it there. On 4th and 5, fourth and 4, they're almost never gonna go for it there. if anything, they'll take a delay of game penalty and back up the punter a little bit and kick it.
Yeah, I think I agree with you with that. Yeah.
There was still another thing, man. I'm just drawing a blank on what it was. I think Dennis had asked about it, and I can't think what it was. Oh well, maybe I'll think about it later and I'll post it. Uh,
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of questions really about it. Oh, well, let me ask you this: how are we gonna? Have you looked far enough down in the schedule for where the draft might fall, and how do we go about trying to schedule that where all
um,
30 guys can be on all at the same time?
we actually haven't talked about our postseason and off-season schedule yet, but what I would like to do is do 24-hour advances after the regular season's over. To where, first round of the playoffs, you have 24 hours to play your game, second round, 24, and so on. And then in the off season, uh, I think you have three stages, maybe four stages of off season. That's I think with three, that's three stages of free agency in there. So I think I'd like to do 12-hour advances at that point, to where we're advancing two stages in one day, because all you're really doing is you go in, you put in your bid on the guys you want, and then you're just waiting.
Yeah,
Everybody gets their bid in, then you wait, and then we advance. If you didn't get them, or the guy didn't sign with anybody, then you go back and you can either rebid, or you can withdraw your bid or leave the same bid, whatever you want to do, and then you just wait again. So I think I'd like to do 12-hour advances in that case. That way we can kind of rush through it, because by then, just from what I've seen from the other league I play in, guys get real antsy after the regular season's over, because they're just ready to start playing again. The guys who
yeah, get
For
the
the guys who
games
don't
going
make the
again. Yeah,
playoffs, you only have 12 teams make the playoffs, so there's 20 guys just waiting to play. So they're kind of pushy, or maybe, maybe not the guys we're going to have are going to be overly pushy, but I know how they feel, because I haven't made the playoffs at all in my other league, and it sucks having to wait a week or so before you get to play a game. As far as the draft, though, it'll be on a weekend, for I would say, for sure. We haven't talked about it, but the weekend seems to be the best time to get everyone, or maybe not everyone, but you can get the most people at the draft. To agree on a draft time in the weekend.
hmm
It works out. It works
yeah. I
out
think
pretty well like that.
yeah. I think that's the way it'll have to be, just from the looks of it, because I know the chat certainly gets a lot more active on the weekends.
It does. It does. Everybody's life kind of stops on the weekend, and they have more time to play. So if we get, if we do it on a Saturday or Sunday morning or night, it's definitely going to be voted on by the league on what time and what day. But it'll probably be between Saturday and Sunday, and either not early morning, but like 9, 10 o'clock Central Eastern time, and then same thing at night. It might be between 8, 9 o'clock Central Eastern, in that range.
Okay, very cool.
I would say if it's Sunday though, we'd have to do the morning, because we don't want guys having to stay up late on a work night to do a draft.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think I agree with you on that. Sounds good.
But all right, I think that's going to do it for our interview here. I'm glad you came on, and you're the first one, so you get that notch under your belt.
Yeah, I like it. Maybe need some kind of need a pen or something.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll send you a pin.
Hey, I've enjoyed it thoroughly. It's great talking to you. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. Um, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and like I said before, just happy that I've joined what seems to be turning it into a fantastic league, and get some activity going on the message boards, and um, make this thing make this thing our own, and uh, have a lot of fun with it. So thank you very much.
Oh man, no problem. I'm glad you joined the league, and I hope you do well the rest of the season, the rest of the cycle.
Well, thanks a lot. You too.
All right, man. Have a good night.
All right.
All
Take
right.
care.
All right, guys. That was Daniel, our Buccaneers owner. I hope you all enjoyed the interview, and I hope to get a few more of you guys to set up a time with me, so we can get some of these knocked out. I enjoyed it. It seemed like he enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good night, guys.